This episode is going to be so different. You guys are going to be like, what the fuck is she talking about? But I actually did a workshop on this. And like I said before, I am super into human design. I am a manifestor in human design. And sometimes I get these urges and I just feel like I need to talk about them, even if it makes no sense. So I want to talk to you about the end of the paradigm that we are currently in. As we move in, I think it's February either 15th or 17th, 2027, we are moving into the new paradigm, which is the self-led era. And I'm going to talk to you about why this is important for you and how it's more than just an opportunity, but it's a calling or a personal responsibility that you fucking start your own business. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. So I am going to rely on my notes for this video because I am not a human design expert. I understand human design. I've been dabbling in it for 3 years. I have not studied it. I'm reading books. I'm not certified in human design. I'm not educated. I can read your chart. I can tell you like the gist of your human design chart. I do it for the clients in my community and how to use that human design map to help you with your business. Because if you're not operating in alignment with your human design, you're probably not going to be successful. So what is human design? Human design combines astrology, I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and they say like neutrinos and genetics, although that's not really mainstream talk. Basically, it's a symbolic framework for understanding your personality, your decision making, your energetic tendencies. So a lot of people, once they learn their human design, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense, because they're parts of themselves that they were maybe ashamed of or they felt like were not good enough. And it's actually just how they're meant to operate. So from my own experience as a manifestor, again, I get these urges and they come out of nowhere. And then I'm like lit up and I'm on fire and I run to everybody in my world and I'm like, holy fuck, like what the fuck are you talking about? And what are you doing now? And what mission are you going on now? And then all of a sudden I just like crash and I fall asleep and I'm like napping a lot. And they're like, where did all that energy go? Well, manifestors are non-energy beings. And so we are meant to initiate and then like go and chill for a bit. And so I learned that about myself. I just thought I was not good enough. And I always thought I had to like force myself to do more. But then when I forced myself to do more in my business, it didn't fucking work. And then I would get angry. And that's like my not self theme. So if you want to dive deeper into this, I would love to go over your human design with you. We do that inside Her Way Society. That's my container of identity, business building, and learning how to sell so you actually make money. So reach out to me, send me a message, comment below. What's happening is we are ending the cross of planning. This was 1615 to 2027. And so there's some core themes here that were really important, and you're probably going to be able to relate to a lot of these themes. Obviously, you didn't live that entire time, but what we're moving into, the era, none of us have lived in this. So we're moving into the age of the sleeping phoenix. So there's like these different gates that kind of run this paradigm. They're kind of like the underlying themes, just like we have our own gates in our human design maps. So gate 37 is the gate of friendship. And so there's a fear-based state of each gate, and then there's an elevated state of each gate, okay? So these are the important things for knowing how you're operating currently in this paradigm and how to show up in the new one. So right now, we're gonna talk about the past paradigm. Gate 37 is gate of friendship. So fear-based is emotional weakness, self-abandonment, and then the elevated of this is like a love-based community, a belonging to self and others, and emotional equality. Another prevalent one is gate 40. This is the gate of aloneness. So when you are in the fear state of this, that is fatigue, burnout, obligation, duty. This makes sense for a lot of people struggling in a 9-to-5 structure where they are burnt out and they're like, oh, I just can't get ahead. And like, there's that resentment that constantly there. That's living in the fear state of this gate. The elevated state of this is like providership, acts of service, reclaiming your time, delegating, intentional work. Okay, so this is where we're living now. The other theme right now is gate 9. This is the gate of focus. So the fear state is distraction, information overload, which we are definitely in. AI opened up this world, the internet, social media, where we know way too much. We know things that we never would have fucking known 10 years ago, and it is overloading to our nervous systems. But when you're in the elevated state of this gate, there's logic, there's clarity, there's direction, there's destination. How many people do you know that are just running on autopilot and they're just like mindlessly seeing something on Facebook and then they're regurgitating that information and then that becomes their truth? Okay, a lot of people are living in the fear state of that. And then the last gate for that is the gate of skills. When you're in the fear state, it's apathy. It's like, what is the point of working this hard in my job when I never seem to get ahead and I'm still fucking broke? And then the elevated state of this is purpose, meaning, passion. And that's basically the energy themes that we're leaving. Okay, so those are the main kind of gates. And the energy themes that we're leaving is this idea of tribal support structures. It's this idea that if you work hard and you contribute, then you will be taken care of. And it's very institutionalized. So it's institutions, government, schools, healthcare systems, social contracts, pensions, jobs for life, stability. And this is the world that we were raised in. I think we can all agree that this is the world that we know that we were raised in, okay? There's a tension here because we are witnessing in real time that this system is breaking down. You probably feel it. You have a distrust in government right now. There's a distrust in the institutions, in the school systems, in the healthcare systems, in even the political parties we voted in for ourselves. There is a burnout working in this system and working towards the greater good when you, yourself, your family, your immediate contacts are all struggling and suffering. There's a collapse of these traditional models. And one small example, and I use this all the time, one of my students shared this information with me. A friend of hers was saying that they can't even get nurses with an incentive of $15,000. Like if you work for us, we give you a hiring bonus of $15,000. That's getting turned down because people are waking up to the lie that this contribution and this working and this burnout is worth it. It's not fucking worth it anymore. And so we're seeing the deconstruction of that system. And then COVID woke up the world and created a lot of that like distrust in 2020 to there are other ways to do things. How many people got sent home and were able to work from home? And then as soon as COVID was over, it was like, no, you're not allowed to work from home ever again. And it was really convenient, especially if you were a parent, to have the opportunity to work from home and be home even just half a day so that you didn't have to have your kids alone or in an after school program and you could finish out the day from 3 to 5 at home. And then we learned like, no, this is possible. We just work in a system that doesn't fucking care about our needs. You're also seeing it break down with money. I'm not an expert in crypto or Bitcoin or any of that currency, but I do know that more and more people are trading goods and services than spending, and people are watching consumerism. How many stores are shutting down? People are starting to question like the value and the worth of things. And they're starting to see that you actually don't need to just rely solely on money. So that is the current era we are living in. It is called the cross of planning. Now we are moving into the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027, February 15th. There are 8 core themes for this new era that we're moving into. And I'm going to break those down. I'll do a part 2 to this video and I'll break down the themes in that one. It might end up being a part 3 too. I just want to make sure you have all of the information because I've been studying this a lot for the last year. A lot of books, a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos that I was listening to, and I've kind of compiled it in a way that's understandable. So the cross of the sleeping phoenix is the age of the individual, which is why this relates to starting your own business and using your own skills and your unique gifts to create value on your own outside of a title, outside of being boxed into a system. And that's going to give you limitless opportunity to wealth and abundance and freedom of your time. You actually have full autonomy over your life. And you are being called upon to enter this. Now, the problem with this massive shift is some people are going to get left behind. And that makes me actually very sad because it calls on us to be leaders and it calls on us to not rely on a system anymore. And it calls on us to not fall into victimhood traps. Phoenix energy that we're moving into is less supportive. It's less structured. It's more isolating if you are not self-led. If you are not finding your people, like the old system held people together in this like mutual suffering, this mutual misery. We all just get up and we go to our job and we're all slightly miserable and broke when we go to get food on our lunch break. And then we go home and we have a couple hours with our family and then we do it all over again. So there was this structured and like kept us all together. That mutual kind of suffering was the glue. And the new one is like nobody is coming to save you, but nobody is coming to stop you either. So you get to decide, which is why some people are going to thrive in this new paradigm and they're going to be self-led and decisive and adaptable, and other people will feel completely destabilized. So this is an opportunity for you to thrive. And so I'm going to quickly break down the gates of the sleeping phoenix, and then I'm going to end the video and we will move into the themes that are really important to pay attention to in human design. Gate 55 is the biggest gate for this. This is the gate of spirit. So this is about emotional honesty, abundance as a feeling, not money. It's kind of goes with energetics, or if you're into manifestation or the law of attraction or any of that, is that you have to be that person. I talk about it as like operating as your future self, because it really is just brain science at the end of the day. When you show up as the person who has everything you desire, you are showing up differently. So you are going to create that outcome. You don't get what you want in life, you get who you are. The fear state of this is victimhood. It is emotional instability. It's victim mindset. Life happens to me, not for me. It's this idea that you're helpless, that you have no control. You feel disempowered. You feel like you don't belong. There's a lot of scarcity mindset. You're focused on lack. So when you're in this fear state of gate 55, it's all about focusing on lack. When you're in the elevated state, it is, I get to decide how I feel regardless of what's going on in my external world. I get to decide how I show up as a mother, how I show up as a partner, how I show up as a family member, how I show up for my business, how I show up for my job, regardless of what is happening in my world. And this is key to being self-reliant. This is key to being a leader. This is key to having a belief in your own capacity that creates a domino effect for the people around you. And I can use one small example of how I've already started mastering this in my own life is in even just my relationship with my partner. I lead the energy in my home. And so even when I'm, that time of the month feeling a little bit resentful, maybe a little underappreciated, it's kind of like a switch in my brain where all of a sudden I'm just like, nobody appreciates me. And like literally happens at the same time every month. Super fucking weird, hey? But when I'm feeling that way, I choose to connect and be intimate in my relationship regardless of what my partner's doing. I choose to validate myself regardless of whether or not I feel like my family is appreciating me. And that is leadership. And that is like really harnessing this gate 55, the spirit gate, because that is the only way to true leadership. The second gate is gate 59. So this is the gate of sexuality and intimacy. Ooh la la. It's not what it sounds like. This is about deep connection, but it is selective. So we are no longer tolerating every single person in our life, and it calls on us to have deeper conversations and more meaning in what we're doing, more intention in the way that we approach life. It moves away from these surface level relationships that just drain our time and our energy and our bank account, and it calls on us to go deeper, which is essentially creating a new tribe. So like we talked about in the beginning, we're ending the age of the collective, right? We're ending this era of the collective. It's deconstructing literally in front of us. We're moving into the age of the individual, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have a community of support or a collective. It's calling on all of us as individuals to step up, to raise the standards, to step into the best versions of ourselves so that we can create a new collective where we are not suppressed into being sheep, but we are all deeply connected to who we are. And when we are all deeply connected to who we are and how we want to show up, it will create a better world because we're going to be standing together as our best selves. So the fear-based state of this, which I see a lot already, is codependency and avoidance. So I see people in relationships, those that are moving into this sleeping phoenix era already, that are like, I want to have deeper meaning. And then I see the opposite side where it's like, well, take me with you. The people that are like dragging you down and you're like, no, fucking get up and walk. I can't carry you up the mountain. Or it leads to avoidance. Like somebody wants to go really deep with you and you're like, oh, I don't want to go that deep. because they're so disconnected from themselves. So it really calls on you to try to find people that are in that elevated state, which is energetic openness with the right people. Not everybody. We're not going to the grocery store lineup and sharing all of our deepest thoughts and desires with random strangers. We are finding those energetic matches. We are mirroring it. Again, comes back to brain science, the mirror neurons. And we're connecting with those people on a deeper level because that's what's being called on us. The third gate in this one is gate 34. So this is the gate of power. Power! Pure individual life force. This is, I move when I decide. This is literally my sweater. This is what deciding looks like. No permission needed. I've already decided, and that's the fucking direction I'm going because everything I need is inside of me already. The fear state of this is what we're experiencing right now in this current paradigm is the burnout and the misused energy, right? Like I was talking about before, we're like draining our energy with people that we don't even like that much or we don't even want to go deep with. And then the elevated state of this is like aligned action only. So that's saying no, that's setting boundaries. You see this with people setting boundaries within their family systems and being the cycle breakers in their family and just saying no, I'm not attending that family event because that does not align with the life that I'm creating for myself and for my children. No, I'm not going to have contact with you just because we share blood because that does not align with the life that I am creating. This is self-sourced energy. This is trusting your inner authority. This is going back to who you were, what you were meant to do, your purpose, and tapping into the power. Every single human being on earth has power, but we are taught and conditioned from a very young age, since grade school, daycare even, that you don't have power and that you need to ask permission from somebody else. You need to seek the answers from somebody else and don't trust yourself because you're graded, right? Somebody above you, the expert, they grade you on your abilities and that's the number you're supposed to trust, which is a fucking lie. You're supposed to trust your inner authority. So we're moving back. Again, guys, this is the age of the individual. And then the last gate is the gate of now. This is the voice of the present moment. I am. This is everything I teach about becoming your future self, and my future self membership is not, oh, I want to be that woman when I'm making $10,000 a month. I will be more patient with my kids and me and my husband will no longer fight and we'll have blah, 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 blah. No, I am that bitch now. This is owning it in the present moment. So you move away from insecurity, which is the fear-based state of this, and you move into confidence and self-trust. You can think your way into it. It's not earned. It is developed through action that is aligned with who you truly are, what your soul was put here to do. So this is having the self-assurance. You take aligned action with full conviction. It's the reason I'm showing up and making a YouTube video with notes on the changing paradigms in human design, knowing that I'm not a human design expert. There are people way more educated than me that could be talking about this, but they're not. They're not fucking talking about it. So now I'm talking about it because I trust my inner authority. I trust the urge that I got as a manifester that I should be talking about this. So now I'm fucking here talking about it. And I hope you get a lot of fucking value from this. So I'm going to wrap up this video and then we will move into the 8 themes that you need to pay attention to so that you can succeed in this new paradigm and be essentially ahead of the game so that you can be a leader and impact and support those that are around you. I'm just going to break down the main kind of energy themes, okay? We're moving into individual sovereignty, emotional authenticity, self-led power, not this like group-led power, and living in the now versus long-term stability structures. So we're not waiting for a pension or waiting for retirement to live our lives. We're enjoying our lives now. This is a massive shift from we survive through all of the systems and structures around us to we survive through self-trust and alignment. This is going to shake some shit up. So the old paradigm, cross of planning, 1615 to 2027, it was all about external authority. So bosses, government, school system structures, delayed gratification, work for 40 years, then you'll be happy and fulfilled. Stability as opposed to actually intentionally choosing your life, creating your life. You were just kind of managing your circumstances based on what was happening in society. So you lived a stable life, not a fulfilling one. And belonging through roles, belonging through identity. We see this a lot with baby boomers retiring that don't know what to fucking do with themselves. I don't know how many conversations I've had in the last year of retired baby boomers that are like, I don't know what to do with myself because all I ever knew was work. I was my job. That's all I was. And I feel that. I can fucking relate to that. When I left my social work job, I was like, who am I without this role? And so that was all the old paradigm. The new paradigm is inner authority, trusting your own decisions, taking the time to actually listen to yourself and understand what you want, not just what you think you should want. It's about present moment alignment. Like, does this feel good to me or no? And am I showing up as my future self? Am I thinking intentionally? Am I making decisions from a place of, this is what my life is going to look like, and this is what it feels like to be living that life? Living as your future self, not just dreaming about it or wishing it or making a little vision board about it, but actually showing up as that woman every single day. And it's about authenticity, again, honoring yourself over stability. So, yeah, life is a little destabilizing. I'm not going to lie to you. Running your own business is like fucking personal development on crack. You're constantly questioning yourself and like, is this going to work? Is this safe? I'm going to have long-term success. Like, it is not this, yes, you show up to work for 2 weeks, I'm going to hand you a paycheck, and that's a guarantee. That guarantee keeps you trapped. That's what keeps you inside of the box. And so when you step outside of the box, you move into a limitless life of limitless opportunities. And so that authenticity piece is huge. The final piece I really resonate with is belonging through resonance with other people, sharing deep, meaningful stories and connections and experiences, not belonging through obligation. So I don't belong to you because you're related to me. I don't belong to you because we're coworkers. I don't belong to you because we live in the same town. I belong to the people that I'm deeply connected with. And that is the community that I'm going to create. Because like I said before, when we're all showing up as our best selves, what kind of world are we going to fucking create, you guys? And we get to be the leaders of that. Okay. In the next episode, I'm going to break down the 8 themes. So where we are moving from in the old paradigm and where we are moving into. Woo, I'm excited. As always, I have unwavering belief in your potential, and I wish you nothing but success.